lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause what can we feel? But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, 'cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna feel. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, 'cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause what can we feel? But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, 'cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna feel. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, 'cause I wanna fall in love. lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause what can we feel? But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna feel. Because I wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Because I wanna fall in love. Yeah. Because I wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause what can we feel? But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna feel. Because I wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Because I wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Because I wanna fall in love. Yeah. Because I wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause what can we feel? But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna feel. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one, because I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give.
Questions. So those of you who had questions for me a minute ago, you can go ahead and ask them. Anyone has any questions from last day or any doubts about Kaggle itself? Or okay, so I assume there are no doubts. Okay, so first of all, I would like to share a link with you guys. So this is a link for our DDSC IU's ML Study Jams 2022. The entire event repository is right here. I've shared the link. So please go on this link and have a look. I have created an entire descriptive contents file that is going to describe how the entire study jams is going to work, what we are going to do, and you'll find the entire roadmap here. So, to successfully complete this event, to successfully get a certificate, and to actually, have some satisfactory level of learning, I believe you can follow this roadmap that is given here. And these are divided in weeks. So for the first week, like I had said last day, we have Introduction to Machine Learning and Pandas library. And then we have Intermediate Machine Learning, Feature Engineering. And then we move on to Deep Learning and Computer Vision. After that, we'll go to time series and an introduction to AI. So all the course links are given here. You simply have to click on the links that are given, and it will take you to the particular particular tutorial and exercise uh, page. So you can do that. Um, so the links are given here. So I'm creating a Kaggle account. All the description is given here. I believe someone was just asking me before the stream started, how do I create a Kaggle account? So just go to kaggle.com and then you can follow the steps that are mentioned here and register your account. And please remember that you'll have to create a Kaggle account to complete the free courses. And at the end of the program, for the students of Techno India University, and even if we have actually no registered participants from outside, then you can share your links. You can share your Kaggle profiles in a Google form, and then will that will help you guarantee your GDSC certifications. Okay. So yeah, anyone has a doubt? Okay. So for doubt solving and discussions panel, I believe because we have an audience not just from Techno India University, but also from outside. So I believe you can just go to the discussions section that is created here. And when you go there, I'll just give you a brief example. Like you go to the discussion panel, this is on the top next to the name of the repository. And here is a discussion like announcement that I have made. So here's how you can ask your doubt. So first you go on a new discussion, then you select your category. You want to show off your certificate or you want to ask about something. You want to chat about anything, what you got to learn from the program and how things work. Then after that, you can add relevant titles. You can describe your problem. This is in Markdown format. Just try to write it in plain, simple English. I believe that will work out for now. And then you can click on Start Discussion. So once you do that, you'll have a new discussion here. And you can also tag my account. After that, what happens is that I get notified that I have been tagged. So as a result, I think within a week or a couple of days, I can solve your doubt. I can help you through the program. And because we just don't have students from Techno India, we also have people from outside joining us. I believe it would be more convenient if we had a common platform for everyone to interact and engage. Also, another thing is that as students, as newbies to technology, it is very important that you have a look through the GitHub's interface. So go around here and you explore all the different aspects of GitHub, how it works, how what each thing means. The different descriptions, like what is starring a repository, what is watching a repository, what is cloning and forking. I believe we'll have another session on this, but for now, just try to have some kind of experience, some level of understanding how all of this works. And in order to access any notes or material, you can see this subsection right here, series of files and PDFs. So this is the description file. This is your participant guide. I believe we showed and presented this presentation to you last day. And here is the material for the previous day. So you just have to go on the PDF file. You click on it. Sometimes I believe it will render. If it does not render, then in that case, you can just refresh. So as you can see, you have the notes for the previous day. I believe it will be helpful if you go through these. I've also written down the points that you need to remember from each day's discussion, and I generally try to upload it within 2 or 3 days. So it shouldn't take a lot of time. Okay, so yeah, so please check this out. The link is in the chat, the Google Meet chat, and if we're live on YouTube, I believe we'll have a link sent there as well if anybody's watching there. So okay, and you also have your frequently answered question. So how long will the event last? Actually, we were supposed to have this event lasting for 4 weeks, but we've decided to extend it to 5 weeks because I personally believe that deep learning, computer vision, these are aspects that need to be taught thoroughly. Otherwise, it's not of much use if you just try to get a certificate out of this. It's important to learn because as computer science engineers in the future, you'll be dealing with deep learning and computer vision in I think 2 or 3 years. Within 2 or 3 years, you'll have subjects about these. So how will I get my certificates? Once again, you complete a course on Kaggle and you will immediately get your certificate there. You can follow these steps to see your individual certificate for that particular course. And for the GDSC certificate, I believe I've explained it. So in case you guys use this repository, you find that some of these notes, they're really helpful to you. I would like to request you to star it, because when you star it, it gives a lot of validation to the entire data set. it gives a validation to the entire repository, and we can increase our reach. It shows that a lot of people were active. So please use the discussions forum, star your repository. First of all, create a GitHub account if you're really new to all this. So yeah, I believe the repository links and all that will be there. Also, should we share links to all the certificates instead? Um, yeah, we'll resolve that later. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we'll start off with today's agenda. So last day, actually, I wanted to complete classification as well, but I could not do that due to some technical difficulties. So I believe we'll move on with that. Classifiers and classification. Okay. So today's topic is classification, especially in terms of machine learning. We'll try to understand classifiers in terms of machine learning. And second, okay. So yeah. So last day we had your entire machine learning tree. So we had your categories. So you had supervised learning. Then you had unsupervised learning, and you had reinforcement learning. So for supervised learning, we have already covered regression. So I believe you guys have a clear understanding on how regression works. I tried to explain machine learning as a white box technique. I went into the intricate details of a model, what it means, what it does, how does it calculate things. And as you increase your experience, and as you deal with machine learning more and more, I believe your understanding of these topics will be way more clear. And in case you have any doubts, you already know how to reach out to me. So please do that. Make this event interactive, keep the discussions panel active. So today we are going to work on classification. We're going to discuss what it is. I wanted to go really slow, especially because this is a weekday and we generally don't have a session on these days. But thankfully we can do this so far to cover up what we were missing. Yeah. So before moving on to classification, it is very important to understand another term, which is called classifier. So what does a classifier do, right? What is this term and how is it different from a classification model? So to give you a technical description, so you can think of a classifier as an algorithm that is going to automatically order or categorize data into the set of classes. So let's say it's again some artistic abilities will be shown here. Okay. Yeah. So let's say you have your input, same old design, nothing has changed in the last 2 days, except that this time the output is going to be a little different. Let's say this is an output. And this output here is going to be defined as a set of classes, which means that it can have values like 0, 1, 2. It can also have names like tall, short. It can have, sorry, it can have categories like spam or ham. So when we say spam or ham, this basically deals with email classifiers. So those of you who have been told sometimes that, hey, I sent you an email, maybe check your spam box. So this is where the concept of email classifier comes from. Initially, classification was used to solve this problem. So you can have, the different set of labels. So these are your labels, and these are discrete values. So discrete values like a 0, a 1, or a 2. There is no 1.5 here, okay? And there is no 2.5 here. There is no minus 1.0, none of that. We have a predefined set of classes, and that is going to be your labels. So this output is going to be in terms of labels. So let's say label 0, or rather labels 1, label 1, label 2. So let's say this is your x1, this is your x2, this is your x3. So this classifier, what it does is that it will automatically order these inputs in terms of these labels. So let's say for some symmetry, we'll have an x4, and let's say our output here is giving us something like this. Output from the above has given us like this. Let's say x1 and x2, they belong to label 2, they belong to label 1, and let's say x3 and x4, just to keep things simple, let's say they belong to label 2. Okay, so let's say this is not the exact format of the output, but let's say this is the kind of associativity. Like x1 and x2 is going to give you the label 1, and x3 and x4 will give you the label 2. Here there is no, remember that there is no 1.5, 2.5, or a label 1.5. Only what belongs to the set will be allowed and accessed. Only what belongs to the set of labels will be our prediction. So that is the job of a classifier. So, like we know that machine learning algorithms are helpful to automate tasks that are usually done manually. So that helps us save a lot of time and money. So, uh, let's now talk about the difference. So the difference between classifier and continue here, classifier versus classification model. So let's say somebody comes up to you and says that what is the difference between the concept of a classifier and the concept of a classification model. So this right here is the algorithm itself. So the algorithm meaning the rules that will be used by the machines to classify. What we're doing is that we're trying to classify input data into rather not into, I would say, use using a set of labels. Yeah. Um, okay. So this model right here, what happens is that it is trained using an algorithm. So while classifier itself is the algorithm, your classification model itself is actually already trained. So once you have trained a model using an algorithm, it is called a classification model. Please try to understand this difference. Classifier itself is the algorithm itself, but classification model is when you use an algorithm to train a model on some data. So it becomes a classification model because its output is also in terms of these labels. So again, for you can have supervised and unsupervised classifiers. Um, Unsupervised classifiers will be fed, the unlabeled data, and for supervised or semi-supervised, they are fed the training data sets that are going to have categories. So based on that, this is how it works. Okay. So let's quickly move on to like types of algorithms, I guess. So we're going to talk about the types of classification algorithms. So the first one that we're going to, like, I'm just going to briefly give you an idea. This is actually a part of intermediate uh, machine learning. So it's not really important right now, but I just want you to understand how classification works. Then you have your naive Bayes classifier, and you have say, KNN. So KNN, or the K nearest neighbors, and we also have SVM, and we have your artificial neural networks. Both of these will not be covering today because this is all part of a lesson in the future, and also because these will take a lot of time. So let's keep things simple. We're only in day two, so these are classification algorithms. Okay, so um, let's say your algorithm could be binary search, right? So binary search is your algorithm. Like, it is a concept that is implemented. Let's say you put binary case for a specific use case, binary search for a specific use case. So your output here is going to be, a binary search for a particular algorithm or a DSA problem. Search for specific DSA problem. So try to think of this as a difference between an algorithm and a model. So this is your generic algorithm, the binary search thing, where you try to divide the entire sequence of data in half, and then you try to shift to the other half depending on the value, right? But if you were to specify this, let's say for a rotated array or a different concept, let's say for a very specific use case of binary search, and then after that you do something else with the data, then this becomes your model, and this is your generic algorithm. So this is one example how you can differentiate between your model and your algorithm. Okay. So let's now move to the types of classification algorithm. The first one is going to be decision tree. So without going into the nitty-gritty details of decision tree, I want to explain things very simply. So you can think of a decision tree as a supervised machine learning algorithm that is used to build models like the structure of a tree. So let's say so so let's see. So let's say one big category is sports. Okay. So inside sports, and you can have multiple different decisions or categories, and within that you can have different categories themselves. Let's see. So let's say for sports, we have sports that is played using a bat. So this is going to be baseball. This is going to be cricket. And here, let's say you're using a racket. So for racket, let's say you have table tennis and tennis for now. So what this does is that it is going to, let's say we wanted to, classify using this tree. So initially we will check if our input data was part of sports. Let's say it is part of sports. So it goes into that. And then after that, we'll check if it was a part of bat sports or it was part of racket sports. Let's say for now we have the bat option is correct. So then it will try to check if it is a part of baseball or cricket. So this is not the exact like I said, I do not want to get into the details for this, but this is just like an overview of how a decision tree might work. So you have your inputs, and then it is going to use if and then kind of a statement set. So it is going to use a sequence of this if and then using that, it is going to at the end, classify it as one of these categories. So this is the end classification. So here, uh, let's say output labels are this. So it can either belong to baseball, cricket, table tennis, or tennis. So it will give us one of these outputs. So that will be based on the if or then statement, or if else, if you'd like to go, if you'd like to use a simple term. Next is a little more interesting part, which is your naive based classifier. So what this does is that it will use a probabilistic measure. So it will calculate the probability of each input being a particular label, and then the one that is the maximum, it is going to classify it as that. So let me explain it. Okay. So uses. So in case you ever wanted to, start off with machine learning, and you went online and you checked out what are the prerequisites, what all do I need to know before I start off with machine learning? क्या क्या सीखना जरूरी है? So in that case, you'll find out there is a lot of discrete mathematics. There's a lot of like mathematics with the statistics and probability. So probability is generally used to give you an idea about naive Bayes classifier. So this is generally used in text analysis. So it is going to categorize the, let's say you have your customers' comments. So people are leaving a comment online. So comment one. So it has a keyword like great. Let's say a comment two, which was about not so great. Not so great. Let's say you had a comment three that uh, said bad or horrible. Okay. So in this case, it is going to tag this as this is a positive measure. This is a maybe negative measure. This is a negative probability. So it's going to give you a value. That's it. The word great is used without any not or no. So in that case, maybe it gives you a probability that it is 0.8 times. So it is 80% sure that this particular label is correct. So it is giving you a guarantee. Because of let's say more input variables here, let's say not so great, and let's say our classifier is not that good. So in that case, maybe it says like I am 58% sure or 0.58 units sure that this is correct. So it is going to mean that it is 58 times 58% sure that this negative labeling is correct. But bad and horrible, it is going to, again, the range is always going to be between 0 and 1. So it is let's say it tells you, because these words are very strong, like bad and horrible. So in that case, let's say it gives you a probability of 90%. So 90% of it is sure that it is correct. So using a threshold at the end of the model, it is going to give you an output. So the output is going to be positive, negative, and negative. Okay, for the input set of that is this. So these are the inputs. So this is your text. This is how text classification works. Text classification, or your very simple sentiment analysis. It's a very simple one, not using deep learning or any external APIs to get data. Very simple ones would work like this. And the formula is also there for this probability, which is, let's say, independent two events exist. So the probability of one event happening, I think, P of A, the P of B. So the basis for the entire classifier is this. It uses this particular formula. And so let's say if B is true, then the probability of A happening is equal to the probability of B if A is true times, I guess, probability of A being true and B being true. So this is how it works. So it's going to give you like a yes or a no. So like we had positive. So it's a yes, this is a positive comment, or no, it's not a positive comment. So this is also your binary classifier. Binary classifier का मतलब yes or no. Like you had zeros and ones. So the only possible output is going to be yes or no. So let's say तुम लोगों ने देखा होगा, maybe if you went through Kaggle itself, the Titanic data set is said to be regression, right? Titanic is said to be regression data set. So let's say we wanted to change. So Titanic में करते क्या है? We'll give you a new person. So let's say a new person, and you want to determine the probability of survival. So if you just wanted the probability ka value, then that would give you a value between, let's say, 0 to 1, right? So in that case, this value can be 0.1, 0.12, 0.4, 0.6, well, all the different values between 0 and 1. So if you had attended the last lecture and if you remember, so between 0 and 1, it can have all the different values, right? So 0, 0 and 1. So 0 and 1, this, this entire range, you can have all the values here, right? This entire range, you have a continuous range here where the output for any new data, x dash, it can lie anywhere. It can lie anywhere. So it is possible to get the entire range. So this is a continuous range. So because this is a continuous, then it becomes a regression problem. But if you wanted to change this regression problem to a classification, how you could do that is uh, a very simple technique called, you set a threshold, and then if the threshold is, if our output is greater than threshold, let's say T1. So T1, then it is label 1, else label 2. So this can give you a chance of survival instead of, like a percentage value, like a 58% chance of survival. Instead of that, it will check, okay, this 58 is 0.58. 0.58, which itself is greater than 0.5. So yes, this individual is going to survive. So, you can change your regression kind of value to your binary classifier in this manner. Next is k nearest neighbors. So this is the last type of classifier. Then I'll show you an example of what classification does, and like एक white box technique की वो कैसे काम करता है. So do it here itself. Okay. So give me 1 minute time and make the data set. If you guys have any doubt, you can write that in the chat. I'll try to solve them very soon. Let's see, we have here. Let's say this is a generic kind of the data set distribution. Okay, so what we will do now is we'll try and zoom in a little. So we're trying to zoom in. Okay, so ये scale यहाँ पे same रहेगा. This is your x, and this right here is your y. Yeah, let's say this is x1. So for one particular feature, this is the labeling. This is label versus the feature. So let's say we are zooming in a little. Click the plus button on our screens and zoom in, and this is what we see. Let's say we have one spot here, here, and here. Okay. You can scale this. तो इसकी जितनी दूरी है इसी रेशियो में है जितना यहाँ पे है. Let us assume that for now. Just to explain to you what KNN is and how it works. One is here, one is here, it's here. Okay. It's here. कुछ green वाले भी बना लेते हैं. It's here. So one is far away. So green. So green. Let's say we have one here, one here. एक इधर आ गया. This is now it here. Okay. Let's make a few more. Okay, so let's say we have a new data. Okay, this is our old data. This is our old data, and here is a new point described by a square. मान लो this is the new data. Now we want to find out कि which kind of class will it belong to. The three classes right now are, one is your yellow, one is red, and one is green. So let's say we have labels. So your possible labels are yellow, red, and green. So let's say we have new data here, blue में. New data. New data. So ये new data, we want to categorize it. Okay. So we want to put a label on it कि ये किसको belong करेगा. What is the tendency of this particular new data? How will it behave here? Let's say ये तीन कोई भी labels है, yellow, green, and yellow, red, and green, and they have their own characteristics. So हमको new data में maybe find करना है. We want to find out what kind of category will this new data fall into. So for that we use a concept of k nearest neighbors. So this is a very introductory basic type concept. I guess you'll be using it for your tutorial as well and your exercises, Kaggle based. So please listen very carefully. And even later years of your BTech, you'll have to do this. Okay. So let's say we have, let's say this is case one. Okay. Let's say case one में हमने k का value set किया. Let's say there is a parameter k that we can change. Okay. So this is flexible. इसके values can range in the positive zone. So let's say this is greater than 0. Okay. So k का सबसे पहले हमने value रख दिया. K is equal to 3. So in that case, let us see what will happen. Let's keep the same one. So k equal to 3 may it will take this. अब can anybody say that इसमें maximum कौन से level के elements हैं in this particular bounded region?
Red.
Red, right? So the prediction for this is going to be red. So the pred one is going to be red. Okay. So let's say now we want to scale up. Let's say now we want to say that okay, ठीक है, जब k का value 3 है, we are comparing with the 3 nearest, and the distance measurement is like this. Okay, Euclidean distance मान सकते हो. So this is the distance. So the 3 जो सबसे पास 3 है, उनसे we have taken a distance. Let's say now we wanted to increase it to 4. In that case, what it will do is, let's say it takes this value as well. So this is for k equal to 4. So this is our second observation, k equal to 4. So in this case, can you tell me what happens? कौन सा ज़्यादा है in this entire bounded region?
12.
Can you repeat?
सर ये रेड होगा क्योंकि जिसका डिस्टेंस ज़्यादा कम रहेगा उसका पहले प्रायोरिटी दिया जाएगा.
Actually, it doesn't work like that. I mean, for the first layer, it will not work like that. Final conclusion, के लिए maybe it can. Here, the classifier is going to be a little confused because at the first layer, जैसे हमने जो मतलब, if our code is not optimized, the optimization तुमने पहले ही दे दिया क्योंकि ये जो immediate absolute distances check कर रहा है, that is a good measure, but that does not generally happen in the first case. If we are writing our own classifier, we have to be very careful. Ki, what we are trying to do and absolute distances, do we take that into account? So let's say these distances are uniform. Let's say कि एक ऐसा point है. So let's say एक ऐसा point है where all are uniform. So let's say In that case, what happens? So in this case, the classifier is going to be confused, right? कि दोनों में दे रहा है, let's say 5 and 5 इधर भी दे रहा है, that the prediction is going to be like, yeah, this is the same distance as this. So in that case, to avoid this, what we do is ये absolute distance का concept नहीं लेके, what we try to do is we try to shift the value of k, because at this point we cannot find a conclusion. So हम क्या करते हैं, we either try to extend this outside or we try to bring it inward. So based on that, so we can have one definite conclusion. So this is like your edge case, ये k nearest neighbors का, and यहाँ पे accuracy भी falter करती है. So let's say instead of doing all this, we now want to increase the classification boundary. So let's say our new boundary is this: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's say I believe we have 16 elements, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. Yeah, let's say k is equal to 16. Now we have our third. Here we have a 0.5, 0.5. Let's say, inaccurate conclusion. It will give you one label, but वो accurate उतना नहीं हो. Let's say for k equal to 16, you can see that green is dominating. So यहाँ पे, so let's say our pred 3, the third prediction is going to be green. So in this case, we have a value. Okay. So like I told you earlier, ये testing and validation, training, ये सब में data set divide होता है. I believe if you went through the notes, तो थोड़ा और clear होगा. So yeah. So in order to measure the accuracy, what we do is, I guess somebody had a doubt about this today. Not exactly this, but key parameters. How do we set the parameters for the different values? So let's say your range of k. Okay, k increases over here. It is starting at, let's say 2. It is ending at 20. And this is, let's say, some measure of accuracy, because I haven't discussed accuracy as such using formulas. Accuracy measured. Let's say a percentage में है, but it is scaled like from, let's say 0.6, so 60% accuracy to 0.99. Do not try to scale this, but ऐसे ही मैंने लिख दिया values. Try to understand. Let's say for 2 we have this value, for 2 we have this, so this, yeah, and suddenly have a threshold value here, 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 and then 16 जहाँ पे था, there the value, let's say, went here. Okay, let's say this is 0.998. Actually, the accuracy is in this side. So we'll change it. So yeah. Okay. So let's say we want to connect. So, and let's say that once it crosses 16, after that the accuracy goes down. Okay, it goes down here, here, and so on. So 16. Let's say just dips down and it stays like that. So in this case, you can, ऐसा k की value, when you try to move it up and down, and you try to move it in a particular range using a for loop, you put your for k in range, and then you put the range here as, let's say, your we went from 2 to 20. So for each, again, you fit the model. You fit the model for each of these. Sorry, you declare the object. So this k and an object with your k is equal to I. K is equal to I. So you make this model again. You fit it again, and then you predict it again, and then you take the accuracy. These are all formulas you have available. When you go through your Kaggle course, you'll understand it more effectively. So let's say you have an accuracy, you are adding it to a list. So let's say list dot end. This way you have added the accuracy, and then after that you have plotted this accuracy using matplotlib. So after that, what you can have is this kind of a conclusion. Generally, it is not that clear. Generally, जो पहला k का value होता है, when the limit, when we have reached maximum accuracy, we try to run with that value. So let's say the accuracy for when k is equal to 16, let's say our accuracy is equal to 0.958. So we are going to take the value of k equal to 16 and we are going to run the data on that. So this is how k nearest neighbors works. SVM and artificial neural network, these are part of deep learning. And sorry, SVM is not exactly deep learning. You can implement some models there as well. वो तो 2D and 3D mapping के ऊपर based होता है using a hyperplane that is of the best fit. And artificial neural network is your deep learning problem that we'll discuss in week 3. Okay. So again, like I said, so you have your input, input, input. So this is during training. And then based on your classifier model that you've used, you take those input, you try to find optimum thresholds. So the thresholds are really important in classifiers. In a way, it behaves like this. You try to find out the optimum thresholds after each calculation. So let's say you have one calculation, x naught goes through here, and it gives you an output, y naught. Then you want to check y naught. If you know y naught is at a particular value, if the value of y naught is greater than this threshold, and after that, then it will go to that particular check. So else it will go to a different check. So like this, you try and find out these values. ये जो threshold के values होते हैं. At what value do I go to a certain label? Let's say after certain levels of processing, we have a label. Say this all belongs to label 1. This all belongs to label 2. So this is not going to be this simple. थोड़ा सा और complicated होता है. उतना भी ज़्यादा detail में नहीं जाते. बस एक overview दे रहा हूँ. I hope this works out and this is helpful to you. So classifies, what it will do is it will try to find out maximum thresholds. ये decision tree में भी हमने देखा था that if and then clause. For k nearest neighbors, I've already explained. To try to map out the different values of k, and k nearest neighbors is very visual. So visually ये जो हम देख सकते हैं. And then computation में what it will do is it will take these distances. Then it will try to match that. If there is an exceeding limit, like if let's say कि x naught is greater than x1, or if x1 is greater than x2, or if x2, depending on number of labels, जो भी case रहेगा, based on that it will give you an output. Yeah, this is the maximum number of labels that are present inside, and that is our final conclusion. Generally, we try to also classify models will try to give you the optimum threshold. उसके बाद में based on this, it will give you the labels for input. So once you have trained this, is you a doubt? Somebody unmuted, I think. So after training, what we have is we have optimized our particular threshold. We have optimized our calculations and everything. जो भी हम लोग को values चाहिए थे, the values needed to determine if the particular input will lie inside label 1 or 2 or whatever the set of labels is. So after training, this same thing actually becomes a model. So after training, this classifier actually becomes a classification model. So you have your new data. Okay. So new data can be a new kind of an email. So उस email के features हो सकते हैं like number of words in that email. Let's say we are trying to build an email classification model. So we have already made the model. Now we are trying to predict. So let's say हमारे पास एक data set. So data set once again like Google times draw. Okay. Let's say you have your feature one. This is your feature one, your feature two, feature three, and then this is your Y. So Y में prediction है. This is spam or ham. Ham meaning that this is important. This is a valid email. So let's say your number of words. This is your x1. So x1 ये हो गया. x2 or x1. I should write. Generally x1 use होता है. So f2 and then you have your f3. Let's say f3 is number of links. Okay. So कितने link है? Then f3 can be what can it be? I guess exclamation marks, yeah, exclamation points. If somebody is writing sale, 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 पूरा एकदम ऐसे decorative हिसाब से, so you understand that oh this is not of any importance to me. इसको सीधा spam में भेजो, भाई time नहीं है ये सब चीज के लिए. So immediately you try to filter out this kind of stuff. Okay. So let's say sample data set बनाते हैं इसके लिए. Sample and any values we want we can put. Let's say this has 800 words, very long. Okay. Number of links 5, and then exclamation point. Let's say 8 places where there are exclamation points. So this is a definite spam. उसके बाद में let's say we have number of words as let's say 80 word का email like you might write to your professor or HOD तो एकदम छोटे length का. Number of links maybe 1. You link to some work you have done. Exclamation point 0. So this is a ham. Then you have another such data set where the length of the words may be less, but the number of links is too high, and then your exclamation points are also high. So let's say this is a spam. ये इसको ऐसे मत समझना कि real life में भी इतने से data के साथ train हो सकता है. In real life, there are like 60, 70 features and parameters that we have to consider. Abhi just for the, for your own sake, for keeping things very simple, I'm trying to explain it in this way. So let's say ये हमने train कर दिया. So this is already trained. So this we have already trained. After training, what we have gotten is this classification model. अब ये classification model में we want to put in new data. Okay, so new data we have classification model we have. What we don't have is the output labels. Let's say there is a particular influencer that we are trying to write an email. हम लोग को उनसे response चाहिए. We're trying to optimize our email in such a way कि नहीं ना उनके spam में जाए. We don't want to end up in his spam, right? We want it to show up on his workspace screen, the first screen that he sees 9 a.m. in the morning. We want to show up. So ऐसे case में we want to see if our new data, let's say our new data is यहाँ पे लिखते हैं, F1, we have F2, and we have F3. Let's say I've written email to a big influencer. I want their response. I really love their work. So I write to them, let's say 50 word email. I also need to give them links to my work so they know that, yeah, I'm a valid person and everything. Let's say I have 3, and let's say the F3 here, exclamation points are 0. So we want to predict if this is going to work. So classification model, because this is already trained, it is done. So it has all the different, all the different functions, or let's say sub-functions, subgroups, you can say, in order to give you the right result. So here, let's say these different boxes all represent calculations that are happening. Under me, these calculations are going on. And for your F1 and F2, it is going to check if it so let's say if your F1 goes here, your Y1 comes out, and then Y1 goes here, and then your W1 comes out, W1 goes here, and then your V1 comes out. So let's say it has all checks. So let's say if F1 is greater than so and so threshold, and if Y1 is greater than so and so threshold, if your W1 is greater than so and so threshold. At the last, you have a checkbox. If V1 is so and so. Similarly, you have calculations here. So calculation 2, calculation 3, 4, you have your 5, 6, 7. You have your calculations going on here. Okay. So her calculation के बाद series of calculations, we don't really have to get into that because ये data set इतना बड़ा रहता है. If you try to go into the detail for how every single aspect is working, it's not worth your time. You just have to understand how this works. एक white box definition देने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. If you go to your Kaggle resources, implementing this is very easy. Last time, I believe feedback form somebody had written that session was okay, it was good, whatever. But how do I really implement this in real life? So real life implementation के लिए, please thoroughly go through the Kaggle work, Kaggle tutorial, and then the exercise. In the exercise, you will find code that you have to edit, and in the tutorials, you will find code that is already working correctly. So when you edit out the code, you will make mistakes. You'll make mistakes कि एक parameter miss हो गया. I missed out on a certain thing. I missed out on this value. Oh, I was supposed to write 1,000 here. I wrote 10,000. Yeah, I wrote more than that. So based on that, you might, and I think you will most definitely make mistakes. And making mistakes is absolutely fine because you are at the learner's stage. अभी सही है. Make mistakes and keep learning. So our model also, it will be inaccurate. No model should give 100% accuracy. अभी तक साइंस ने ऐसा कुछ किया नहीं जिससे ऐसा हो पाए. Maybe that will change in the next 10-20 years, future of AI, I think. And then let's say based on our entire, coming back to the data set, based on our entire data that we had given it, all the different features, let's say number of words, we had a 150 word email. We had provided 3 links. One was a GitHub link. And please remember, कि links also they try to catch, okay? Like in the actual email classification model, they have very good nitty-gritty details जिसमें बहुत defined होता है कि if this is an official link to somebody's let's say LinkedIn, so it will think, okay, this is somebody official. If it is the link to some social forum, then उतना validation नहीं मिलता. So that is how this models are being trained for many years. So let's say we have 3 number of links and we have 0 exclamation points, very formal, very precise kind of an email. And at the end, let's say it gave us our label, and thankfully, because things went well, so it gave us our label as ham, which means this is a valid email. And as a result, we tried to send this kind of an email. So we can think, acha, I can discuss with my team. I can say, okay, so if we write an email that is of this, uske features, uske characteristics aise hote hain, then we have a much better chance of getting a ham response, or actually, ending up in the right place instead of their spam box. So this is how classification works. This is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And if you have any doubts, please feel free to say that. You can ask here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you send the ML Study Jam link again? What's it?
I can send the
ML Study Jam link, GitHub.
Okay. I can send it right here to you. Okay.
And Arvind Bhaiya, you earlier told that event will last for 4 to 5 weeks. So I registered in Kaggle, so we have to complete all Kaggle assignment within 4 to 5 weeks.
Okay, so I'll clear that out for those of you in doubt. Okay, wow, that rhymed. Chalo. So for the first 4 weeks, see, this is what I want to do. Taki, we have a preset roadmap so that we have things defined. Ki 4 hafte mein we have to cover all this. So we have just 8 courses. काफी simple है. Tutorials में जाओ 8 weeks में, if you try for 10 hours a week, तो भी हो जाएगा. And week 5 will give you extra time. Ki if you want to complete everything, then that's fine. Maybe Google Form may I'll ask for your certificates themselves and the profile link. ताकि you upload 8 certificates and उसके basis पे I can give you the certificate. And yeah. So सारे courses करना जरूरी नहीं है. जो 8 courses हैं यहाँ पे, try to do that. I believe अभी के लिए that is enough. And of course, as you start working, you'll find interest in all of the different courses that are there. काफी अच्छा scheme है Kaggle का. I really like it, especially for
I've done one course. So I also got already got a certificate.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nice. Acha.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. So as you start working with introduction to ML and pandas, then apne aap your interest is going to peak. So data visualization, which is not exactly mentioned here, we'll try to cover that as well. क्योंकि data visualization is a very important aspect of data science or your ML engineer का role, or those of you in AI specialization, data visualization एकदम basics है. So data visualization की importance इसलिए है because if you ask anybody from the industry कि do you do this thing, do you visualize your data, they'll say that yeah, around 80% of our time is spent doing this only, because when you visually see data you can form connections. So let's say last day we discussed regression, right? So regression may also, because we saw this visually, this kind of a data is being, our data is like this. So we were like, okay, there is a linear relation. Like, you can form a line, right? Like visually, you can create in your own mind. There is a line, there is a visual connection. So you're like, acha, for the first model, maybe I'll try visualization. So like this, you go through the different courses. SQL ke bina, you cannot really access big data. You cannot work with bigger data sets. You cannot optimize and clear them out, filter them as you want. You cannot select sub portions or subsections. तो ऐसा करके when you go through the courses, तुम्हारे अपने अंदर ही आएगा कि okay, I need to know this. So there is a resource, it is completely free. So you'll naturally, your inclination is going to be कि हाँ, let's figure it out, let's try to complete this. So okay, I hope that answers your question. Any other doubts? Check the chat also, Mas. Facebook group link. We have a WhatsApp group link. That's it. और किसी को कोई डाउट है, please पूछो. Feel free to ask doubts. And please do not forget to go to the GitHub repository. Give it a star, okay? It will help us increase our reach. Like we have around 60-70 participants registered for the event. Right now we have few less people than that. At least half of you try to star it. That's the only form of appreciation we get. So, okay. Yeah, if you don't have any further questions, then you may exit.
Arun bhaiya, we have to fork or star in GitHub.
No, not really. Not really. No, there is no need for you to fork it. If you want to download, what you can do is you go here, okay, and then click on the PDF file. Once it loads up, you can click on download and you will get the file. If you want, you can fork it, no issue. कोई बात नहीं.
Okay.
This is your organization.
So I'll do both.
Okay, as you wish. If you fork it, you'll have a local copy on your local system. Just make sure that you fetch upstream as the days go by, because the content is going to be updated every week or every 2-3 days. Say, aaj ka bhi notes, I'm going to write it in a better way and I'm going to upload it. So keep maintaining the fork, keep updating it. There's a command called fetch upstream. Use that. Okay. और किसी को कोई doubt? Anybody else has a doubt? I believe no doubts. Please go to the GitHub and start it. Create a GitHub account if you don't have one, because you are all going to be developers on some level. So it's important to have a GitHub.
Yes, I check it out.
Okay. Yes. So the rest of you, thank you so much for joining.
I download your PDF.
Okay, fine. So like I was saying, thank you everyone for joining. We've concluded day 2. And your goal for this week is going to be, try to cover the week 1 portions. If you have any doubt, then the discussions panel is open. Tag my account, write it over there. I'll try to solve your doubts in 1 or 2 days. Okay, thank you for joining. Which Kaggle courses go in depth with KNN and naive Bayes? I think the introduction to machine learning should have something on that. I'll have to check it out. But your KNN naive Bayes generally is like your introduction algorithms to machine learning should be there itself. And even if it's not there, I believe that this is a basic skill that you need. So it's going to be very helpful for you. So price, yeah, regression models are there in the introduction.
Sir, give me your Facebook group ID link.
We don't have a Facebook ID. We have WhatsApp groups. You can join
What's
that. What if we are not able to finish the exercise? So Pratik, us case mein, what you can do is go to the discussions panel. You can write your doubt over there. I actively check the repository out, so I'll help you. And if somebody else knows, then they can also help. Acha, Divyaru, if there is no Kaggle course, then maybe you can try the Titanic data set itself. Go through other people's notebook, try to get the idea how things are working, code it out. After the ML study jams, when we start, our regular offline sessions, so us samay I'll try to, maybe give you an example with actual data sets. Okay, like Aries data set or something like that. Super simple stuff.
Hello.
Yeah.
Aryan bhai, one thing I forgot to ask that after completing the intro of programming, so there is a Titanic something
Yeah.
Titanic type.
So that is not exactly part of the entire ML study jams, but I would suggest ki once the entire study jams is over, try to spend some time on that. Try to work with the data set, write your own code. If you have some trouble, then ask us on the discussions panel. That panel is going to be open, so you can ask for them.
Yeah, Titanic tutorial there. So at the end of the intro of programming, so Titanic tutorial there's
कोई इशू नहीं है, तुम्हारा ही अकाउंट है, आराम से check it out, no worries.
आराम से मतलब
Yeah, no worries. If you find any trouble, then let us know. We'll try to help you out.
ओके तब कोर्स करते रहते हैं फिर और टाइटैनिक बाद में टाइटैनिक ट्यूटोरियल बाद में
No worries. No worries. Titanic tutorial ka basically the use is that they want to introduce you to the actual Kaggle platform, which is competing against people. You take in data, you try to write code to have a good model created, and then you try to submit that. तो जिसका जो accuracy रहता है, the loss function F2 score, R2 score, based on that they try to find out किसका model सबसे अच्छा है. So that is the purpose of Kaggle. They want to introduce you to that aspect of their platform. This is the tutorial series. So iske baad mein maybe I'll go through one or two of those exercises. How to think, what kind of model to use, visualization techniques. Abhi ke liye you can try to follow it sequentially, the courses. So you'll have better understanding. Parameters, kya hai, hyperparameters, how they work, how do we optimize them over a certain range you want to check for values, all that. So yeah, thank you again for everyone who joined today, and you may all leave the meeting now. Today's session has officially concluded. You'll get a feedback form. Please fill that up. Usse we get to know what part of our session was good or what was bad. So we can optimize and we can make things more efficient and better for you. So thank you for joining. Today's attendance. Gaurav, are you there? Let me ask. Gaurav. Okay. Yeah, because today's link was integrated into the event declaration. So basically, once you join using that RSVP link, your name is registered. Thank you all. You may all leave now. That's okay. Thank you for joining. Okay. Please fill up the form, check out the GitHub. Okay, bye-bye. See you next time. Next session, I think, may happen on Sunday evening or morning. Okay, bye-bye.